So guys, I think we've just seen the worst, and I mean the worst call in the history of sport.
DJ Carrington is one of the most controversial figures in the WNBA right now. And trust me, after what happened in that Dallas Wings versus Golden State Valkyries game on July 26th, her story just got a whole lot more interesting. After making headlines for all the wrong reasons, DJ has finally gotten a taste of her own medicine in what might be the most ironic twist of the 2025 WNBA season. While the WNBA's officiating issues have plagued the entire league, Carrington had somehow managed to avoid being on the receiving end of any truly outrageous calls. That all changed on July 26th when the narrative flipped and she finally felt the sting of the league's most baffling officiating. If you are enjoying, please subscribe. With under 2 minutes left and Dallas down by 3, Janelle Salane's deep three missed, sparking a scramble. Carrington chased the rebound, but wisely pulled back, letting the ball roll out to give Dallas possession. A smart heads-up move. Then came chaos. Tiffany Hayes, sprinting full speed, collided violently into the now stationary Carrington from behind, sending both players crashing to the floor. By any standard, it looked like a foul on Hayes. She initiated the contact and was clearly out of control. For some reason, the referees called the foul on Carrington, leaving even seasoned WNBA fans stunned. Let me repeat that because it's so ridiculous it bears repeating. Tiffany Hayes ran full speed into a stationary DJ Carrington, knocked her to the ground, and the referees somehow decided that Carrington was the one who committed the foul. It was such an obviously wrong call that even people who couldn't stand Carrington were admitting it was a terrible decision by the officials. Here's where this story gets really interesting and where the karma aspect comes into full view. Under normal circumstances, a call this bad would have sparked immediate outrage from WNBA fans. Players, analysts, and casual observers alike would have been up in arms about such an obvious officiating error. Social media would have been flooded with criticism of the referees and sympathy for the player who got screwed over. But this wasn't a normal circumstance, and DJ Carrington isn't just any player. The fan reaction was swift and brutal, but not in the way you might expect. Instead of rallying to defend a player who had clearly been wronged by a terrible call, the sentiment on social media was unmistakable. Fans who had watched Carrington poke Caitlin Clark in the eye, commit multiple flagrant fouls, and generally play with what they saw as dirty tactics suddenly found themselves experiencing a moment of satisfaction. Comments poured in along the lines of karma finally caught up with her, and now she knows how it feels. The reaction was so uniform that it became a story in itself. Here was a player who had been genuinely wronged by officiating, getting essentially no sympathy from the basketball community because of her own previous actions. It was a perfect example of how reputation and past behavior can color public perception even when someone is clearly the victim of an injustice. Calling it one of the worst calls in WNBA history might be an understatement. Carrington did everything right, chased the ball, pulled back, and held her ground. Hayes, charging in full speed, slammed into her from behind. Carrington never moved or initiated contact, yet somehow got called for the foul. By any rule or logic, it should have been a foul on Hayes or a no call. The call was so bad that even Golden State fans who benefited from the decision had trouble defending it. Dallas fans were rightfully furious, not just because it cost their team possession in a crucial moment, but because it represented everything wrong with WNBA officiating. The game shifted momentum completely. What should have been Dallas ball instead became Golden State possession, and the Valkyries went on to win by 10 points. The beautiful irony of this entire situation wasn't lost on anyone paying attention. Carrington had poked Caitlin Clark in the eye with no foul called and no punishment from the league. She had committed multiple flagrant foils that were later rescinded on appeal. She had created situations that required security intervention with referees. Through all of this, she had somehow avoided being on the wrong end of the officiating lottery that had been affecting other players all season. But on July 26th, karma finally caught up with her in the most perfect way possible. The timing couldn't have been more perfect either. This happened during a tight game where every possession mattered, in a season where Dallas was struggling and needed every win they could get.